Well, how's it going, Disney Cruisers? And we're back with another video. This is just a Disney Cruise Q&A, a bunch of just general questions you guys have asked us over the last month or so, and we're finally sitting down to answer those questions.
If you're new to our channel, I'm Lacey and this is Justin, and we did not too long ago a recap and just answering a few of you guys' questions about the Disney Wish, because that's the most recent ship that we have been on. So we will link those videos below if you're interested in watching, because we vlogged that whole trip and we love the Wish. But today we're just going to be talking about just Disney Cruise Line in general with you guys' questions you have.
And also we'll make chapters for you so you can kind of bounce around to different questions, because these questions really aren't in any particular order. Again, they're just kind of general, random questions. So here we go.
So what stroller do you recommend for an infant on Disney Cruise Line? We have the best stroller, we feel at least, that works great. Just traveling in general, but especially on cruises, because it's very small, and it is the Duna. It's one of the strollers that you can use as a car seat, and then you can push a button and out pops the wheels. It's really compact, which is perfect because you don't have a lot of room in the cruises, and especially we like taking it in the stateroom, yeah, and we like taking it even to dinner, because our daughter, when we brought her, she was an infant, and sometimes she would just sleep through dinner. So it was nice because it's short, so we could just roll it right up to our table, and I'd just put a blanket around and she'd sleep sometimes. So it truly is the best, and then it's nice for traveling.
Just going around the hallways, in the
easy.
The stateroom, but also on the cruise, and you feel like you're not like this massive huge stroller trying to get around people on the ship, and even on deck, everything. It was just super compact.
It was great. And then I was gonna say it was great for travel, because then when we would take cars or Ubers, whatnot, with transportation, we had our car seat ready to go.
It was always funny though when we would, get an Uber, they would pull up and they would like get out of their car, open up the trunk, because they're thinking they need to put this stroller away, but we're like, oh no, it's good, it just folds right up and whatever, and they're always like, this is crazy, but anyway, we'll link that below. It's one of our favorite strollers, for sure. Highly recommend it for Disney Cruise Line, absolutely.
Yes.
So this question we got so much on our last cruise, and we never really answered it, but it's a Magic Band versus key card on the cruise. So when we were on the cruise, I actually used my Magic Band, and I used it, but it didn't work the first time. It was like day one of our vlog, embarkation day. We'll link that video below. And
Justin was the only one that got one of the Magic Bands,
test
so
it
he
out.
Can speak to it.
But because of that, everyone was like, did it even work? Like, whatever. It did work. I actually had to go and get it like reset, kind of a thing, because it wasn't
with customer service.
And it was a super easy process, but they just kind of like got everything synced the way it needed to be. And after that, it worked fine. And so I would actually use my Magic Band to get into the stateroom, because honestly, I don't like wearing my lanyard. It was nice because we were gold on this cruise, so it's kind of fun wearing it a couple times, but I just don't like wearing it around my neck. And so it was just nice having that to be able to access your room. I think Lacey said next time we go on a cruise, she wants to get one as well.
I do, because I don't like wearing lanyards that much, even though it was our first time getting gold, so I was like, yay, I want to wear my gold one. It was cool. But after a while, I'm like, ugh. Like, especially when you're like getting dressed up and going to dinner, I just would throw my lanyard in my purse. So, but I needed to have my key on me, so I would really like to try it.
Well, and then there was times when it was in your purse and you're trying to get it out to get inside our room, and it was just nice having that. And what's cool is if you pair your cruise with like a Walt Disney World vacation, it's nice because you can just use it for both.
Okay, this is a good question. It's kind of a twofold one. The first part says, would you do another 3-day cruise? And what did you miss about doing a longer cruise? So
You want to go first?
I will go first. I personally wouldn't do a 3-day cruise again. I think it's way too short. I feel like by the time you get in there and unpack everything, I almost would like to just keep it in my suitcase, because it feels like you're packing up before you know it. With our itinerary, 3 days what worked for us with the Wish, and we paired it with a Disney World trip, which is why I think it worked out really well, because we're coming from Idaho, and for us to go to Florida for a 3-day cruise, like, I just don't think it's worth it personally. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't just do a 3-night cruise either. It would have to be paired with a Walt Disney World vacation as well. So I felt like it was actually fine. Like, I would do it all over again. If we said, hey, we're gonna do a six day in the park or 5-day in the park, but we only have time to do a 3-day cruise, I would still do it. Would you do it? If it was like that?
Yeah, I would.
But I guess if the question was, would you ever do a 3-day cruise, and that was it, if we just left and just did a cruise, no, absolutely not. We would definitely want at least a 5, 6, but we like I think our sweet spot is the 7. The 7-night cruise. I think, especially like you said, if we're going to the East Coast to Florida, like we definitely want to make sure we're doing a longer cruise.
Yeah. However, in those 3 days, we did a lot. And like I shared before, we'll link our vlogs below if you guys want to watch, if you haven't, our Wish trip. I mean, they have so much for you to do, but at the end of it, we did talk about, I wish we could have had more food on deck or tried out this. Like, there was just things like we could have totally done and seen more if we had another day, if that makes sense. But we still, like, we rode the Aqua Mouse, like,
tons of
3 times.
We
It's
did
pretty
it
cool.
right in the morning, and there was no line.
Yeah,
which is
and we got to
awesome.
experience, all the things that were kind of like on our hit list. We got to do the really cool bounce house one day, the Incredibles area. Like,
I would say,
there's a lot we did.
I would say this: if you're doing a 3-night cruise, you're gonna have to plan a little bit more.
You're
really gonna have to like sit down, maybe look at some vlogs or whatever, go online, look at some forums, whatever, and just kind of build out like a to-do list because you just don't have you just have to be wise about your time. I guess is what it is.
Yeah. Because on top of it, one of our days was Castaway Key, so obviously that's a ton of time that you're spending there too,
Off the
not
ship.
on the ship.
And we chose to actually, we docked in NASA, and we chose to stay on the ship.
Right.
So imagine if we have
Got
never
off.
been to NASA before and wanted to
Right.
explore that, then it would have been way less time on the ship.
True.
So the next part of this question is, what did you miss about, a longer cruise? For me, you want to go? You go first.
Ladies first today. I was going to say for me, I missed having more, and we did a little bit of this one day, but just the downtime where you're just sitting on the deck, sitting on the veranda, a drink, or going to Cove Cafe and just watching the ocean. Like, I just feel we had a little bit of it, but I would have loved to have a whole day of more just that, that downtime. Because I love that part of cruising. So I don't know. And I would have, wanted to do like a little bit more like trivia and the animation classes, stuff like that too. So.
Yeah, I feel like when it's a longer cruise, like the itinerary unfolds more, and there's just more options to be able to do the animation classes and the trivia and things like that.
Yeah.
And then plus you get in that vacation mode a little bit, and you're kind of just like easier to relax. But for me, it's kind of the same thing, but it's just I miss having like a day at sea day. Yeah. Because there's no day at sea day.
And you never even got to do like your gym. You like to go to the gym in the morning, stuff like that, where you just kind of feel like the freedom. You're not, wasting time to do that, where you're just kind of like at home a little bit, Yeah. So
I feel like we weren't as settled in as we are on other cruises. Yeah. Because of that. But yeah.
But this was also our first time on the Wish, so there's a lot we wanted to see.
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to go explore everything. But again, if we had more days, it would have been nice because we would have been able to explore more on the Wish. Now, the Treasure, we're looking forward to at some point. By the way, we have booked the Treasure. It is going to be happening. I know that's been something that you've been asking us quite a bit with. We'll go into more details over that later, but it is booked, and we are very excited because that is a 7-night. Yeah. So that's going to be great. Now, but yeah, I think it was just, honestly, I love sea days. I really do, because you're talking about sitting there and relaxing and, just reading a book, watching the ocean. Yeah. And I feel like the best way to do that is at sea days because everyone is just more chill on those days.
Right.
Because everyone's just, I don't know what it is. Because when you're docked, it seems like there's still kind of like a rush. But when it's at a sea day, the whole culture of the ship is different.
I agree.
You know what I mean? True. So I really miss the sea day. So, if it was a shorter cruise, like a 4-night cruise, because the Wish does 4-night cruises. And I don't know what the itinerary is. There might be a sea day in that one. Probably is.
Yeah, that would make sense.
It would make sense. That could be a really cool sweet spot. But still, I don't think I would do a 4-night or a 3-night if it was a standalone. I think it still needs to be at least 6 or 7. Yeah. To do like an actual just a cruise. Yeah. For sure.
I hope I answered your question.
Yeah, it's fun talking about.
It is. I know. It's making me want to go on another cruise right now.
And by the way, if you don't follow us on Instagram, we're at our Z Roll. And from time to time, we ask you guys different questions so we can answer. We do like coffee chats. And so we kind of just talk about like our life, or if you want to get to know us more. It's a good place to do that. So yeah, once a month we'll usually get on there and say, hey, what's up? This whole forum was funny because we were just talking about, like Lacey said, the Disney Wish recap, but there was like a ton of questions that were just general Disney cruise. So we're like, I guess it's about time to do another Q&A. So this is the thing. If you have more questions about Disney cruise, please put in the comments below, because we gather these questions and we will update these Q&As because they're like frequently asked questions.
Yeah.
And so we like doing these quite a bit, especially as we get closer to our Disney treasure trip. So anyway.
So this question says, do you feel like Disney cruises aren't good for babies? Why didn't you bring your Lil? So we actually have, so our last cruise we did not bring our daughter, Juniper. We have a daughter and 2 boys. We just brought them on this last cruise, but the one we did previous on the Magic, we did bring her. That's when she was an infant. We brought the Duna and that whole story we shared. And she was like 6 months old, I think, around there. So
I mean, it was literally 6 months, because that is the...
I think they have to be, right?
You have to be 6 months. She barely made the cutoff.
Or 7 months. I think she was right after.
Yeah,
6 or
whatever
7
it
months.
is.
Whatever the cutoff is, it was right after
It was there.
that.
Like, by the week.
She barely squeezed on there.
Crazy.
So, to answer your question, I do feel like Disney cruises are great for babies. Absolutely.
100%.
We just chose not to do it this time around with some different reasonings to have some more time with our boys. But anyways, they're great. They have the nursery set up for them. They have, like, food ready for them if they're at the stage where they can eat food and they can puree
it blows
for
me
you.
away. Like,
they have diaper genies. They've got your pack and plays. They've got bottle warmers. I mean, if you want to cruise with a baby, do Disney. Just do it. They're awesome. So if you're considering bringing your baby, they do need to be, I believe it is 6 months.
It's around there.
But yeah, they do a great job, and I felt like it went really well with Junie.
I think it's just one of the better vacations you take with babies.
Yeah.
Because of how close your room is to everything. So if you want to do some entertainment, you're just a walk away back to your stateroom.
Right.
And it's not like you have to drive places, when you're traveling with babies and you're like, oh man, we need to get back for nap time or whatever, and you're like 45 minutes out in the city. Yeah. It's so easy. And they make it easy for you. And Disney is all about bringing your babies, and so they get it. Any questions you have, they'll answer them. The nursery is amazing. We've never
so great.
We've done a lot of cruises. We've never had a bad experience with the nursery.
I think we dive into it a little bit after we went on the Magic. We'll try to find that video and link it below. And we shared just our experience with Junie, and she had a picture even with Princess Tiana came into the nursery with her, and they had little arts and crafts they did with her and gave us stuff. They're amazing. The reason why we love Disney Cruise Line with family and babies and kids is everybody gets to have a great vacation. And so when we just want to go off and do something, they have the Small World Nursery where you can check them in, and then, we can bring her with us to different things. So, and like Justin shared, everything's so close. So it doesn't feel like I'm exhausted and she needs a nap and we have to go, travel somewhere. Your room's right there, So it really is.
Yeah, and
great.
When we go on the treasure, she's coming.
She is, yeah.
All the kids are going this time around for the 7-night voyage.
Yes, she's gonna be now a little toddler running around the ship though.
She's gonna own that ship for sure. Okay, next up is, do the shows fill up early on the ship?
So we've never felt we needed to get to the theater like 30 minutes early and save seats. I guess if you want to get really good seats in the front, maybe do that. But they do fill up. I feel like any show we went to, they were always full. But we were usually coming into the shows right after dinner, not too far after that, and maybe we're grabbing our popcorn or whatever and sliding in like 10, maybe, 8 to 10 minutes before, and we'd find really good seats too. Because I feel like the way Disney does it, you can either do, have your early dinner or your late dinner, and then they stagger the show with that. So people are coming from dinner, or they're, coming from maybe the pool and then going to the show and then going to dinner. So it's never that kind of thing where people get there super, super early, I would say. Again, some may, if they really want good seats, but I feel like you're fine, if you don't.
I would
get
say
there so early.
if you have the main dining, which you would have the later show, I feel like that one's the one that's more packed.
Yeah.
Than if you had the late dining, so you would have the earlier show. So basically your show would be before, vice versa. I feel like whenever you have the main dining, it's going to be more packed. Even in the dining hall, it's going to be more packed.
Because most people travel with kids on Disney Cruise, and most people want the main early dining with kids. So.
And one thing to note, don't save seats. They don't like when you save seats. There was someone, it doesn't really bother me, but Disney, like if people do it, I don't really care, whatever, but Disney asked not to do that.
They'd
but
rather
also,
your
whole group being there,
in.
which makes sense, obviously. But there was a couple in front of us, and they were saving a whole row. And someone came in, and it was getting booked up. And they're like, is someone sitting here? And they're like, oh, I'm saving seats. And they're like, well, they're not here yet. And they just sat down. And, you know, what can you say? Because you're not really supposed to do that. So recommend, make sure your entire party is with you. Now, what we'll do is I'll go down there, find my seat, sit down, and then I will go up, maybe get some popcorn, just myself, or maybe I take Landon. I think that's okay because you're just going to get some popcorn.
Right.
But at least you go down as a family, you get your seat together. Then you go from there. So I don't know. I mean, maybe if one person's getting popcorn, the rest is staying down there.
Yeah.
But the whole row was a little crazy.
Yeah.
But Disney doesn't
party
like.
of 20. He'll be here in a little bit.
Yeah, and you don't want to do that. But if you're worried about it, and if you want to get the really good seat, like Lacey was saying, you want to go early. Other than that, we've never really had a problem finding a seat.
No.
We are huge Disney fans and believe you should make the parks as fun as you can. This is our first cruise, and we're applying the way we do parks to the cruise. That being said, I have heard if you are first-time cruisers, you should not participate in fish extenders or pixie dusting. What are your guys' thoughts?
We have to... Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say I agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that statement.
I would too.
If it was my first time cruising, I would not do fish extender. I would not do pixie dusting.
I was going to explain if you don't know what fish extenders are or pixie dusting. Fish extenders are different groups you can get on with Facebook, and you can see who's going on your cruise. And then in your groups, you get them just little gifts, and you can even specify on when you fill out your stuff, like what your favorite Disney character is, and who's in your party in your stateroom, and you put little gifts on the little fish, like that is the hook, hence fish extender. And then pixie dusting, we never did that.
It's the same kind of thing,
similar,
but
right?
yeah, you go on Facebook, you find your cruise, there's an admin that just kind of puts it all together, and if you want to be part of it, there's ways to sign up with like a Google Doc kind of file situation, and then they do it for you. So really, it's pretty cool that people do that.
Yeah.
But why we would say no on your first cruise is there's so much to explore, there's so much to do, and you're actually taking time from your cruise to go around and putting your gifts in the fish extender because you're part of a group, and so everyone is like kind of sharing gifts. Yeah. Right. And so when you're putting all your stuff in your staterooms, and you get a list of staterooms that have them that are in your group. So you have to spend time to go around and put all that stuff in. Right. And that's fine. It's great, and we've done it before, and we've enjoyed it. And it was so fun.
The boys loved it.
Especially with the boys, because every time we would come back, there would be something inside our fish extender. But I would just say if it's your first time, there's already so much to think through. Right. And then again, you have to take all this stuff. You do. Pack it on the cruise for the gifts, and then you have a lot of stuff at the end of the cruise to take back too. So just think about the extra souvenirs that you'll be taking there and taking back as well. So
for your first cruise, I mean, it'll be fun though, because when you're walking around the staterooms, you'll see everybody's hung, and maybe it'll give you some good ideas. But I wouldn't recommend your first one doing it. Maybe wait until your second or third.
And we've only done it, once or twice?
We did it once, yeah.
Once, yeah. And so it was cool. Yeah. I just don't, would we do it again?
I don't know. Maybe when, I don't know. We'll talk to see the kids would like to do it
maybe
again
this time around, because I think they would actually love to go around the staterooms and deliver gifts. Right. So maybe it's the right season. I think that's what it is too. It's just different seasons you're in. Yeah. I think when our kids were younger, that's all we could do just to I don't know if I would want to go around and deliver gifts, but but it was cool actually. This last cruise, we got pixie dusted.
We did, yeah.
Which is interesting because we weren't in any kind of group, and so I think the thing is there's with pixie dusting, sometimes if you're not in a group, you're still going to get a gift once in a while, and it was kind of cool. Just coming back to the stateroom, there's a little bag, and someone just gave us a little gift.
Yeah, the boys loved it.
It was pretty cool. We are sailing on the Fantasy in December, but hitting the parks before our cruise. Sounds exciting. Can you talk about using Disney transportation? How did you get from the resort back to the airport? Did you feel Disney transportation was worth the cost? Okay, so
I'd say yes. Just answer that one.
And I know that this is kind of talking about the park too, but we had a lot of transportation questions.
We did.
Because what we did on this last cruise, if you don't know, is we stayed in the Hyatt Hotel in the Orlando airport, and we had transportation from the airport to the cruise, and it was awesome because you did all your check-in, your Disney Cruise check-in at the airport. So when you got to the terminal, you're ready to board. So that all happened, and then after we're done with the cruise, we had transportation going from the ship to our resort, and then the transportation from a resort back to the airport. And so we actually all set that up with our travel agent. We actually use a travel agent sometimes we don't, but this time we actually use a travel agent. So if you're using a travel agent, you just let them know, hey, this is what we want to do. They'll book everything for you. But if you're doing the same thing we're doing as far as going to the hotel to the cruise, just call up Disney Cruise Line, and they will get the transportation all worked out for you on your reservation. And so,
as well as for after if you're doing the parks.
Yeah. So it's pretty seamless. But when in doubt, contact Disney Cruise Line because they can get that whole transportation set up with you. Also, they'll tell you what they can and cannot do, and then a travel agent can come in and kind of help with the rest. As well, as we mentioned, we stayed at the Hyatt Hotel. You can actually book that through Disney Cruise Line as well, the Hyatt Hotel in Orlando. So they can work all that out for you. And and it's all paid for, it's ready to go, and it was seamless.
Right. So I would say yes for your last question was, did you feel it was worth the cost for Disney transportation? I say yes. And it's cool because you get to watch like the Disney cartoons and the Disney trivia they have on the screens in there. And they are just so kind and just really helpful. And the kids love it too to have, the Disney cartoons and stuff. So that part's really fun as well.
Now on the way back from the Hyatt Hotel to the airport, it was Mirror's transportation. So we didn't have like the cartoons and all that kind of stuff. And that
we had loud music.
It was horrible because they picked us up like at 5 a.m.
It's like this disco loud music. And we're like, can you please turn this down?
It was like, dude, it was bad. And then whenever they parked the bus, because they had to pick up other people, whenever they parked the bus, like there was like these massive like fluorescent lights that just came on, and you were just like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired.
The Disney bus.
So that part right there,
it's worth the money.
I mean, honestly, there's a lot of other transportations you can take from your resort back to the airport, and I might do something different, like just like a personal or an Uber. But it was nice to know that it was just all taken care of, however. And that was nice. But I think as far as going back to the airport, I think I would just do a private car.
We were ready to go though, man. They woke us up with that music.
So I mean, it's whatever. It's fine.
This question says they're going in May. Kids are 1 and 4. Nervous about the kids clubs. Any feedback on them? So we did a review. If you're looking, I'm not sure what ship you're going on, but just for the Wish, and we talk about the kids club and stuff. So we'll link that, just that section of it, because like we shared, we did a whole recap. But I mean, like we shared before, Disney just caters to kids. We've felt so comfortable taking our kids. We've had moments where our kids, when they were younger, they had a hard time leaving us, and they were so great with that transition. And I mean, at the age of 1, they will be in the nursery. So we shared about, the nursery and how great they are as well. But I mean, our kids loved the kids club too.
Yeah, I would have to say though, at that age, around 4, just go into your sailing, go into your cruise, knowing that they may not want to be in the clubs.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of overwhelming because there are a lot of kids in there. The counselors do an amazing job. They help with the transition, like Lacey was saying. And they really try to make the kid feel welcome, especially if they're having a hard time.
And but I'm going to stop you there so I don't want to forget. But the kids can say, like, can I get picked up? They get that option. So we've had them, they can contact you. Right. If they're ready to go.
Right. Yeah. But I would say, knowing, like, I think the first time we went there, we're like, oh man, it's going to be great. We're going to drop off the kids. We're going to have all this free time. It didn't happen like that. Our kids didn't really want to go in there. It was hard for them to go in there. And it was just kind of this thing where they did it, but it wasn't very long. And so if you go into it knowing that it may not be this thing where they're in there all the time, they want to be in there all the time, then you're going to be fine. Because the cool thing is, if they decide they love it, then it's like you have a lot more free time than you expected. And I think that would be the only tip I would have. Nowadays, our boys, they really like it.
Well, they have each other. Before it was like, if it was just Landon at that age, it was just him going by himself. And as of right now, for the kids club, it's ages 3 to 10. And so for them being like 3 and 4, that is a young age to come in with a lot of kids. So yeah, just, some things to consider.
Especially the range.
The range there. 10,
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that is a good point to bring up.
But end of the day, it's like, as far as the kids club goes, like, it's fantastic. It's first class. The counselors are fantastic. But yeah, it's just, sometimes the kids don't really want to go in as long as you would like them to go into. So next question is, were you able to contact family at home without paying money? We never actually have done this before. I'm pretty sure you can actually go, and again, you might want to contact Disney Cruise Line for this, but pretty sure you can actually go to guest services and they can make a call if it's an emergency. But you can also use iMessage for free on your phone. Just put your phone on airplane mode and connect to the onboard Wi-Fi, and you can message from your ship back at home, which is pretty awesome as well. Now for me, I like to turn all that off because I'm on vacation and I don't want to get messages from home. But there are those times when I needed to send a message back home for something, and you're able to do that from your phone. So first off, the sun is coming in pretty harsh right now. I don't have my diffuser blinds up.
You got all this beautiful sunshine.
Yeah, and so if it's overexposed, I apologize.
Okay, what is your favorite restaurants on Disney Cruise Line? So right off the bat, one of my favorites, and it's on the Wonder, if you're going on the Wonder, is Tiana's. So I love Tiana's restaurant. I think the show is awesome. I love the music, love the menu, the beignets, and I love on the Wonder how they have yes, outside of Tiana's restaurant. Is it Tiana's Place? I don't know. Tiana's Place, restaurant on the Wonder. Outside of it, they have the whole sitting kind of bar area is all themed with Princess and the Frog as well. So that's what I love about it. It's got that bayou feel, and so that's one of my favorites.
I think for me, it's Animators for sure. I love the menu. I love just everything about it as far as the atmosphere there. I also like 1923.
Yes.
I really like that restaurant. The food, the menu is fantastic, but also just, I don't know. I liked it. I liked it that there was just no entertainment.
Show, no entertainment.
Yeah, it was just, it was nice. And I like the entertainment on the ships and stuff like that, but it was nice having a break and just eating a meal and enjoying conversation. You know what I mean? Okay, last question is, family of 5 going on a 7-night Disney cruise soon. That's exciting. How much cash should we bring for tips? Great question. So
we do get this one a lot.
Yes. So we're going to camp out a little bit on this question because as far as Disney Cruise goes, you don't have to tip every meal. And we get this question quite a bit, and because you think about it, when you go to a restaurant, you tip.
Right. It feels weird, especially because their service
is fantastic.
Outstanding.
But what happens is with Disney, they'll actually give you a set amount that they recommend you to tip. And you'll do that at the end of the cruise, which they'll give you these little cards, if you will, on your bed. Or you can do it before you even cruise. You can get the entire gratuity out of the way, so you don't have to worry about it. Now, if you want to add to that, then you can bring
go above and beyond.
Yeah, and we've done that multiple times, and you can do that with your stateroom host, whatever. Then you can slip cash in there as well, or add more to your stateroom.
Right.
So this is the thing: you don't really have to have cash on the Disney cruise because you can add it to your stateroom. So, for example, if you want to get room service, you can actually just put that on the receipt that you sign. Same with drinks, all that kind of stuff, and add more.
Or you can just do cash.
But we've always just brought cash for the room service and also adding more to the gratuity at the end.
Right.
There's something about just giving someone cash if they're bringing you room service. And so how we usually do it is we do about $1 per item-ish for room service. And then depending just how amazing you've connected with your waiter staff and your room host, that is just completely random. We've done quite a bit sometimes just because it was just fantastic. Our last room host was the best room host we've ever had.
So good.
And we think it's wise to bring tips no matter what. Even if you're going to do everything billing to your stateroom, it's nice to have cash because after the cruise, if you're using the transportation or whatever, for example, for us, we had a big family. We had a lot of luggage, and because we were going to Walt Disney World afterwards too, and so we actually paid a guy to grab this huge dolly, grab all our luggage. He went through security with us with our luggage, and we paid him $2 a bag, and we kind of rounded up from there. So it's just nice having that. So we always go to the bank before vacation, grab 1s and 5s and some 10s, and just have that. Because there's so many times you need tips. At the airport, different transportations.
So hopefully that answered your question. We don't really have a set amount to tell you, so just try to think of those scenarios and kind of estimate what you'll need. Maybe you're going to do a lot of room service, or if you're planning on having somebody help with your luggage and just think through those things.
Yeah.
And if you have too much, you got extra money to take home.
Perfect. But anyways, that's going to do it for this video. If you watched all the way through, we really appreciate it. And let's go ahead and put, I don't know, what do you want to do for an emoji? Just do one of the cruise ship emojis. We've done that before, but because it's
all
Disney Cruise, it makes
line.
sense.
Yeah.
So put a little cruise ship emoji. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. And if you have not subscribed, consider doing that. We do Disney content like this. We do lifestyle vlogs, travel, all that kind of stuff. And so if that sounds like something you're into, come along with us. We would love for you to be part of our family. But anyways, we love you guys, and we'll see you next one.
Bye.